Welcome to the highly requested 2025 Gaming IEM Buying Guide, a video I've been delaying since the last one, not because I'm lazy, but because nothing's really changed. I thought I'd finally get this video out since it is 11/11 and you guys are going to buy IEMs anyways, so I'll help you pick out which ones are good. I'm going to repeat a lot of stuff from the 2024 video, so you can watch that one if you'd like extra info as well. So my theory on gaming IEMs is that it's not worth it to spend a lot. This is because IEMs have gotten so good since China took over the game that $20 IEMs just do what $100, $150 IEMs did like 5 to 10 years ago. So basically what it boils down to is just buy some Chinese IEMs that have your preferred tuning for around $20 to $50 and look pretty comfy. IEM price versus actual in-game performance follows something like a logarithmic curve. Over in the $0 tier, you have some airplane IEMs that you got for free. You got Apple earbuds off the curve over here somewhere because they aren't quite as good as $20 IEMs for gaming. But honestly, they are good enough, I think. Then you have $20 IEMs that climb the curve just enough for you to not have to worry about like $150+ sets. That's already more than I'd spend on IEMs for gaming specifically. I'd say my recommendations are going to cap out at $80 with the Truthear Hexa or the Truthear Pure. If you disagree with me, that's completely fine. I don't really care. A lot of the best gamers will just absolutely run the fade on you with Apple earbuds. And I'd wager that a given player with some $20 Moondrop Chu 2s versus literally spending $70,000 on the Sennheiser HE1 will be the same player with no statistically significant difference in aim, kill-death ratio, or whatever performance metric you really want to use. Hearing in-game sound cues is much more dependent on the game implementation and audio engineering, not the hardware that you use. Someone with the Sennheiser HE1 will still not hear footsteps in Apex Legends. Though, can I still use that joke? I've heard that's kind of changed recently. Anyways, let's go over the criteria once again. So what do you look for in a gaming IEM? These are my criteria. 1. Rounded shape, comfy shape, lightweight. Because you want this to be small and lightweight, they're going to end up being budget sets, like I said. Plastic build, preferably. Single dynamic driver. Sounds like $20 IEMs, right? 2. Straight thin cable to reduce ear loop strain. No angled insertion to the IEMs. These angled insertions can give you hotspots on the front of your ears. They might work for you, but for most people, standard thin cables work the best. 3. Preferably a good sound signature for lower volumes, which is a V-shape. V-shape is better for lower volumes according to the equal loudness curve, which you can read about more on your own or watch this critical video. When giving IEM recommendations, I want you to be mindful of your hearing health as well, as using IEMs at higher volumes is much more damaging than headphones. So you should get sound signatures such as the V-shape that scale better at lower volumes. So as you can see, according to my theory at least, most of the criteria for gaming IEMs is about comfort, not sticking like 5 drivers in there for maximum detail. You want to be able to wear these IEMs effortlessly for 5+ hours. I'd say the biggest hurdle for most people to start trying IEMs is comfort. If you ask most people, their story is probably like, oh, I tried these IEMs and then I stopped using them after a day because they hurt my ears. On to recommendations, $20 bracket. The $20 bracket, like I said, is going to be the absolute bread and butter for gaming IEMs. It's absolutely the best in terms of price versus performance, just because of how far IEMs have come since the early days and the fact that these can be small, pretty lightweight, and just have a single driver. That makes them very wearable for 5+ hours or however long you want to spend grinding video games. First is the Moondrop Chu 2, one of my mains to this day. It's not a perfect shape as you can see, but it's definitely a small shape and it doesn't give you many hotspots once you get used to it. Cable, as you can see, is S tier and I recommend it for the cable alone. It has a good V-shape as you can see. It is a little bit harsh on the treble over here, but that's fine because like I said, V-shapes scale better with lower volume, so if the treble is bothering you, you can just turn down the volume. I am using Paul Wasabi's Squigglinks over here, so shout out to his channel. And over on AliExpress, it is available for $15 with a $3 coupon, so $12. Like I said, for $12, just go ahead and buy this for the cable alone. Next is the Truthear Gate. This is an amazing shape with some molding that's very natural to the human ear. As you can see in the background piece over here, it is also plastic, so it is the most lightweight IEM I think I've tested. I think each piece weighs about 2.4 grams, or it's in the 2-gram range. This is also an S-tier cable, as you can see through the pictures. So again, I recommend it for the cable alone. On Amazon, it's going for $17.59, but if you can wait for the Chinese shipping, it's over here on AliExpress as low as $10.59. I don't know if that's free shipping, but yeah, this is free shipping. So go ahead and get this one just for the cable alone, $10.59. That's a cop. Also, if you want to stylize your other IEM combos, you can either get the white one for the white cable or the black one for the black cable. This is the tuning of the Gate versus the Chu 2, so as you can see, a bit more tamed on the bass and, a bit more on the treble side, at least in terms of how it sounds in the ear due to the, tonal balance. I will say I just like the Chu 2 overall just because of the bass presence and the, kind of inconsistency on the roll-off of the treble here is like a bit more textury on the Gate. But if you want a neutral sounding IEM and the most comfortable of all the IEMs I'm going to recommend here, then the Gate is for you. The next is going to be the Tangzu Wan'er. So for around $25, this is actually my favorite tuned budget IEM, which is in the $20 to $25 range. Unfortunately, it fails in almost every other criteria, which is why it's not my main. The shape and fit are kind of bad with the 1 and 2. I think the 1 is better for me. But as you can see, there's a lot of flatness and corners on this shape. It's not rounded off like the Gate. So I do find it very uncomfortable, and obviously the angled cables doesn't work for me, doesn't work for most people. It might work for you, and you can go for that in this case. The problem for the comfort on the Wan'er II is that it's built for like a very shallow insertion angle, so it doesn't really fit my ears either. I have bigger ears. Maybe if you have smaller ears, the Wan'er II is better for you. They're about tuned the same, so it's not like a significant difference between the two. I don't think you should differentiate between the two, between tuning. Just to show you for reference, it obviously is a bit more balanced in the bass than the Moondrop Chu 2, and the treble is a lot more depressed. For the Wan'er, it looks like you can get the 2 for $13 on AliExpress, and the OGs for like $8, so yeah. I could definitely recommend getting the OG Wan'er for a better fit, just for $8, and then getting the Gate for $10, and then basically you get like a 2 for 1, and then you can use the better cable on the Wan'er. Next is the 7Hz 01 or 2. I prefer the 02, so I'm going to specify on that one. As you can see on the sound signature, it has a bit more of a tame treble and a better roll-off in my opinion compared to the Chu 2. And the bass like flares up a bit more at the end, giving you a bit more sub bass. So I do like this sound signature more than the Chu 2, but they're not quite as cheap and not quite as comfortable, so they are on sale for about $22.50 over on Amazon. If you want to go the AliExpress route with the coupon, it is $17 and then another $3 off. So that is another very good deal. The issues I have with this is obviously going to be down to the comfort. So as you can see, the IEM shape is kind of geometric when the human ear is not very geometric. I will say that the rounding or the part that faces your ear is very rounded off, so it is manageable. But the cable is really bad in my opinion. This angled insertion doesn't work for me, and the cable is thin, but like literally like too thin to the point where it's like painful on my ears. So yeah, it felt like floss or like fishing line, like grating my ears. So definitely get another cable if you're going to use this one. Next is going to be the $20 to $50 here. I know we went over $20 in the last year, but it was like by like $5, so who really cares? But my recommendation definitely overall in this tier is going to be the Blon BL03. This is going to come in at $37 on Amazon, but if you go to AliExpress, which I recommend, this is only going for like $20 plus another $3 off on 15 coupon. So yeah, getting this IEM for like $20, maybe even less, is definitely a good deal. So yeah, like I said, you can just play at a very like chill sound signature. It'll be like very soft to your ears instead of like harsh and graty with some treble. Compared to the Chu 2, there is a bit more bass, but as you can see, the treble is a lot more rounded off. Obviously, I don't prefer these angled cable insertions, but the shape is like so unique that you can kind of get around it. I would still use a normal straight cable from the Chu 2 or the Gate. Also, as you can see, just the shape of the IEM itself is like so unique, so small, so lightweight. I never had any issues wearing this for a long time. For around $50 right now on its current sale, I recommend the Truthear Blue 2. Some, tuning purists might tell you to go for the red, but I really recommend the Blue 2 for gaming. This is because you can get it bundled with this inline mic, so if you are a, mobile gamer and you need a good mic, this is pretty decent. Not only that, but they decreased the girth of the insertion nozzle and they kind of changed the insertion angle. So when I use this, I could wear this for a really long time. Back when I had the reds, I couldn't wear them for like 20 minutes. So yeah, I think I just sold them or gave them away immediately. Again, the cable is incredible. The new Truthear cables are just like top of the line across the board. Over on AliExpress, you can find the Blue 2 for as low as $45 right now, so obviously I really recommend this. The sale still goes on for another week, so definitely check it out if you are interested. And $49 with the mic cable. Paul Wasabi actually doesn't have this IEM graph, so I will use the Hangout audio from the man himself. As you can see versus the Chu 2, it obviously has that bass scoop that a lot of people like to make the bass a lot more like thumpy or sub-bassy. And the treble is similar with a smoother roll-off, so I definitely like the sound signature of the Blue 2 a lot better. For $70 and beyond, this is going to be the last IEM I'm going to recommend actually. This is the Truthear Hexa or the Truthear Pure. Both from the same brand and basically the same IEM with two different flavors, and I think a bit of shape variance, but not by much. As you can see, they're on sale for $72 on Amazon, and the shape is a bit geometric, but when I wore these were very, very lightweight. As you can see, built with some kind of resin or plastic, and just a joy to wear. Over on AliExpress, they are available for $65 and then another $5 off. That is a great deal. These in the IEM space are known as the best bang for buck when it comes to detail, because they do have the 1 dynamic driver plus 3 balanced armatures, close to the 1 DD4BA combo that's in a lot of the most detailed IEMs, back when the Blessing 2 was the standard of the 1 DD4BA combo. So here are the two sound signatures. Obviously the Pure is going to be the more bassy one, it is the newer one. So it's basically a rotation of the Hexa tuning, throwing off the balance a lot more, but that might be what you want because a lot of people don't want pure neutral of the Hexa is. And if you can't tell how neutral the Hexa is, this is the Chu 2 with a lot more treble and a lot more bass. Finally, the Chu 2 in red versus the Pure. The Pure getting kind of close in bass, not really, but avoiding a lot of that high, sharp, shrill treble with a very beautiful roll-off, if I do say so myself. And that's really it. Again, I don't recommend spending more than this for IEMs if your focus is just gaming. Just pick something comfy from what I've recommended and pick one with the tuning that you prefer. If you're more music focused or reference focused for some creative work, I'd recommend checking out more technical reviewers for your interests or just getting the Truthear Hexa. If you want a top 5 recap, my first option would be Moondrop Chu 2, the Blon BL03 2 at number 2, the Truthear Hexa or Pure, with my taste personally being the Pure, at number 3. Number 4 would be the Truthear Gate, and at number 5, the Truthear Zero Blue 2. So yeah, links are in the description if you want to check those out. Those are affiliate links that help me out. But a disclaimer, I don't leave links for random products that I use, only ones that I mention in the video and recommend.